find out where she is at or not?
Yeah, just call her real quick. Okay, so sorry for the delay. We were waiting for a couple of people. This is our group that's going to Peru with us. We have one family that's not here because someone had to work, so that is Amber Houston, and their family's not here, but I've already talked to her. She has all my stuff. She gave me all her waivers and everything and consent forms today. But we're going to talk about Peru. So I just got back from there. I did a site visit. I was there for about 5 days. I went and met everybody, looked at everything, make sure getting in and out of the country, because that is an important thing, because it's never ending. I get texts from people all randomly that look at the embassy, change this, but it's pretty easy to get in and out. You got to go from here. We have to take PCR tests 48 hours before, okay? Why 48? Because we have connecting and not 72, so I don't want to miss any connecting deadlines or anything like that. So 48 hours before we leave, have to do a PCR test, okay? We have details in there. I get my PCR test done by the airport because I know it's good, and wherever I've traveled, I've gone there. But there are a couple other sites that I put on your paper. If you look at, if you pull through your thing, I have, where is it? Oh, it says PCR test. You guys found it? Okay, so remember, no antigen test. Please remember that. If you do an antigen test, they will not let you on the plane. So it has to be a PCR test, 48 hours of travel before you travel. There's two different sites that I use the one that says Clarity Lab Solutions, and I go out to LAX area, they do it, they have it for me within 2 hours. And I know they're good because I've used them multiple times that I've traveled. You can use any of these two, just make sure you have an email and a printout. Because at immigration in Peru, they can ask for the email version to make sure that it's not fraud, and they also want the printout. Okay? So please, please, wherever you go, make sure if the ones that aren't traveling with their parents, make sure they have it via email, and make sure they also have it a printout. I'm going to get those printouts, like, because school will still be going on. I want the children that are not traveling with parents, I need to see that since we're leaving the 17th, which is a Friday, I need them Thursday morning, so if there's any issues, okay? If you're traveling with your parents, I don't need them because you'll bring them to the airport, okay? Okay, let's just recap for Hannah. So we just started, Hannah. Hannah, let me give you your folder, hon. And then get ready. And then this one right here too. Oh, Hannah. So as I was just explaining, that to go out of the country, you need a PCR test. If you look in the folder, there is a sheet where some of the recommended sites, you know, you can go to Walgreens, you can go to all these other places, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to get to you within within 3 hours or that day. So just make sure that you get that PCR test 48 hours before our flight. So if we're leaving on Friday, the earliest you can do Friday 8 a.m., the earliest you can do is Wednesday 8 a.m. So that's why I suggest that you go Wednesday 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or even in the afternoon, but get somewhere that gives it to you within 3 hours or 24 hours. Okay? And these sites you can actually, I was looking at the one in Tustin and the other one, you can set your appointments for like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they'll do them. And they'll have them by the next morning for you. Okay? Any questions on the PCR test?
So this is just going over, right?
No, yeah, I'm going to talk about when we go back into the country. I can talk about it now, that's a question. So going back in, we have it scheduled. Well, they'll come to the hotel room, and that's 24 hours. So the last day, in the morning at 8 a.m., they will come and do the PCR test, and that's $40 is the test there. And what they'll do is they'll give us the results in 2 hours. But for the kids that are not traveling with parents, you guys are going to do two. I'm going to have you do one the day before, because I don't want any responsibility if there's a false positive. I need to be able to rush and get you back on the plane. Okay? So if you want to do that too, you're more than welcome to, but it's 24 hours. If you're vaccinated and you have a COVID card, then it could be 72 hours to come back. Okay? So I'm not going to ask status or anything. I don't want to know, but I'm hoping everyone is vaccinated. I've talked to mostly everybody, and I know they are, but I'm just doing it for safety precautions, because when I was coming back, even though I had my COVID vaccination card, they asked me, do you have one in 24 hours? And I had to kind of get smart with the lady and say, no. Why would I give you that? It says the rule is 72 hours with the vaccination. She goes, oh, okay, you're right. So just in case, I have a 24-hour set, and then also if you want to spend the extra money and do 48 hours or 72 hours, we have that availability too. Okay? But they're pretty good. You'll have it within 1 hour or 2 hours, and if something went wrong, we'll be able to find another facility very quickly. Okay? Because you do know it could be a false positive. And if it is, then we have another one set up. That's why I suggest if you're COVID vaccinated, that you do get it. I can set it up to where it's 48 hours or 72 hours. So if there is something that goes wrong, we have the ability to really quick, we can act and get another one. Because it's happened to us where, I'll give my daughter's example, she came positive, we were going to Hawaii, and it just didn't seem right. We went and got it done at another place. Within 2 hours, it was a false positive. And it's just, luckily we had done it enough timing, and we knew another place. We had already set up two for us in case something went wrong. So we're going to do the same there. If you want to, you're more than welcome to get it done. But for the kids that are traveling with me and that you see the consent forms, you have no choice. We're going to do the first one 48 hours. That way, if there's any issues, I have a chance to rectify it within the 48 hours. Okay? Any questions on that to getting back into the States? All right. Consent forms. Parents that are not coming, you all have consent forms that have to be notarized. Why do those have to be notarized? It's for child trafficking laws, to make sure that I have the ability to take your child out of the country. If you notice, I put 3 people on there. Why do I put 3 people, not just myself? Let's say I test positive for COVID and I cannot come, or something majorly happens, or some kid has to stay behind. I can stay behind with the children, so I put my wife and I put also Amber Houston on there, okay? So that you can still get on the plane with the other individuals and come back into the country, okay? So consent forms, I need those notarized, and I need those hopefully by the end of the week. I need to get them in because I need to submit them. I need to send them out to the embassy. I don't want any issues going in and out of the country with the child, right? Any questions on the consent forms? Hannah, did you bring your consent form?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go grab it for Veronica? Okay. Timothy, did you bring yours? Okay, and then you can grab Timothy's too. So Rachel, we're the only one you can give it to Tulsi by the end of the week, okay? All right, any questions on the consent forms? Okay, let's talk about waivers. I've got some waivers already. If you didn't bring your waiver, you need to give me that waiver. That is just a standard waiver for everybody. I always say, being an attorney, I always tell everybody else too, you want your attorney to review it, feel free, but these are our standard waivers. It does protect us too, because I am doing this as a nonprofit. So anything can go wrong, but understand we're going to do our best to help your children. And that also leads into doing the best that we can. We provided travel insurance. If you look in your folder, we have spent the extra money to make sure everybody going on this trip has medical insurance and is covered. So let's look at it. If you look at your folder, pull yours out. Mine doesn't have it, right? Let me see yours real quick. Okay, you see your names? It looks like this. It's from AIG. So, reputable company. And they'll tell you what's covered. If you look at the travel medical insurance expense, it's $100,000 per person. We also have emergency evacuation. Everything that you need is covered on there. And it's covered for every individual that is traveling, okay? Any questions on this? I know someone had a question if they needed to buy their own insurance or not. You don't need to, we've already bought it for you. Okay? And if you look at it, it has the policy number and everything on there. So parents, you can put that away for you that aren't traveling with your child. You can see that the policy has been issued and everything, okay?
Quick question.
Yeah.
If you have medical coverage through your employment, does that?
Yeah, it does, but it's not going to cover it there. So this is, I mean, if you have credit cards and stuff, your credit card has like emergency travel insurance and stuff that's put into it. But this is just additional insurance should something go wrong and there's something major, then this will cover it. And also, I mean, this leads into the next topic. I have videos and I'll show you. We also partnered with a urgent care out there. He's a doctor that only deals with foreigners. And so if anything is there, I went over, I saw his clinic, I took videos, I took pictures. He does from A to Z all the way through surgery too. He said the most common sickness, does anybody know what's going to happen there? Is food poisoning. That is the most common thing that foreigners get. So we always say, don't drink the water outside, make sure it's bottled water, don't eat where, like the street food or anything like that if your stomach can't handle it. Okay? So if that does happen, it's 24/7 on-call doctor. So he will come to the hotel. And if need be, they got ambulances, they'll take us right to there. Okay, so I checked that out recently when I went there, and that's something that I did a tour. That's where I got my PCR test done too. So just to know how it feels and what they do and everything, okay? So you also have a medical provider there. That's a comforting feeling that we know that we have somewhere where we can go to if something happens. Or even if you're running a fever or anything, that will be covered, okay?
Real quick,
Yeah.
the PCR test?
What is it? All I know is a PCR test, they stick a swab up your nose or your mouth and they do a test.
You just answered my question.
Yep, that's what it is. I don't understand the dynamics of it, but we have a chemistry teacher if we want to put her on the spot. And,
I'm like, what's the process? Do they take blood?
no blood. It's a swab up the nose or throat-wise, and that's how they do it. Everywhere I've done it is the nose. But it's different than the antigen test. It's a little more expensive than the antigen test, so if you go, don't get sticker shocked in the U.S. because I've seen it range from $100 to $200. So just know that it is expensive to do it because you want to get it done within from here within the 48 hours. So that's why they charge for it, and that usually means they'll get it to you in 3 hours. Okay.
Just to clarify, it can't be 72 hours,
No,
it can't be. It
because
has to be 48.
there's sticklers. If we're traveling, because we have a layover in Lima to get on to Cusco, so if they require it for that internal flight, we won't make it. That's why I'm saying 48 hours just to cover us to make sure, because when we go over the flights, we are laying over almost 7 hours before, 8 hours before we catch our Cusco flight. Okay, so I don't want any chances taken, so it's 48 hours is better because that will give us the 72-hour window that we need. Okay? Let's go to the flights. one in mind? I probably lost it.
There's another one.
Oh, back to this end. Okay. All right, so the flights, you see that we leave December 17th at 8:15 a.m. So parents that are bringing their children there, usually we're a big group. We should be there at least by 5:15 in the morning to check us in, because we need everybody there to be able to check in. Okay? 5:15, yes, that's an early morning flight. Okay? Understand, LAX is chaotic. So please plan to arrive either earlier, but please don't be late. Because if we're late, I don't want anybody's bags not getting on the flight. It's better to get our stuff with a 28 group there earlier. Okay? If you have to carpool with people, please make sure be there by 5:15 a.m. Okay? Then we go to Houston, and we have a three-hour layover. During that 3-hour layover, it's going to be a wise idea to grab some food, because then our next flight is almost 7.5 hours, and that's to Lima. We get to Lima at 11:55 p.m. We have booked hotel rooms for everybody. I mean, you're going to be sharing, but we've booked them respectively to how we have the rooms. So I've booked 11 rooms to how you're going to be sharing them. We've covered that cost for you too. So that way, from when we get outside the airport, it literally, this is the airport exit, that is the hotel. So for safety purposes, and we don't have to go, we cross the street, we take our bags, we go and sleep for a little bit, get freshened up, and then at 8 a.m., we'll go back and check in for our Cusco flight, which is about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, okay? So any questions on that so far?
So we actually get our bags?
Yeah, because they don't, even when you're connecting right away, you still have to take them from there and go and put them at the counter.
Recheck them in at 8.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I went this time on Latam Airways, and I almost missed my flight because it was a 2-hour layover, and they were just slow, and they didn't really care. And luckily, they were Americans, and I said, hey man, I'm going to miss my flight. Oh, they're like, go ahead. But other people were not letting other people go. And so it's actually better that we get off, take our time, because we'll grab our bags, and 28 people, it's going to take time. So, and then we'll go to the hotel, freshen up, sleep, and then come back and check in, because it's right across the street, and then get on our flight. Okay? Coming back, December 28th, it's an 8 o'clock flight. We get to Lima at 9:25, and our next flight is until 1:40. Okay? That one I'm not booking a room for, because the airport's big enough, and by the time we get our bags and go, and then we have to go to the counter at United and check in again and show them all our paperwork, it's already going to be probably about 11 o'clock. And there's a great food court in Lima Airport, which I will suggest that everyone should get food in their stomach, because that flight is another 7 hours again. Okay, any questions on that? We will do immigration, more than likely in Houston, because we land in Houston, so we're going to have to grab our bags again, and we'll find out if they're going to transfer them automatically through an internal gate, or we'll have to recheck them in, okay? Any questions on that?
On Lantam, do we have to pick up the bags in Lima?
Yes.
So to connect to United?
Yep, so we grab our bags from, because it's Lantam, we'll grab our bags, take them to United. The United counter was pretty empty. It was pretty empty because everyone is on Lantam. But United counter was very empty. I asked them, I went over there and said, how hard is it? They said, it's not an issue. And our layover is pretty big, yeah, so we don't even have to worry. So I actually feel comfortable because the layover is a long layover. Okay? We get here to LAX at 11:41 a.m. And that will be probably on a domestic terminal. It will not be Tom Brady, because we'll be doing international customs at Houston. Okay? Any questions on the flights? just FYI, the flights today, we were just asking to see upgrades, to see the business class. $10,000 for business class. Our economy flights were 18 something, like close to 1,900 bucks. Those flights are almost $3,800 right now. Flights are going crazy.
Do we have seat assignments already?
I have no idea about that because I couldn't check in with the group number, but I'm going to ask for our travel agent to see if we can get the seats assigned now. Because I had to book through someone else, so he will be getting us that. He's getting me all the ticket numbers and everything like that. So he'll be printing it out to me and then I'll email. I don't want to email the code out so people can change things. So once I have it, I'm going to try to do the seat assignments. Okay? Any questions on the flights so far? Okay. So let's go to the itinerary. All right, so you've seen this itinerary from South American Expeditions. This is who I booked through. I've traveled personally to Peru 4 years ago and loved them. They're pretty luxurious. They got great tour guides. They're easy. The only portion that they don't do is the volunteer portion, okay? But they just kind of scheduled it out so that we could see it. Okay, if you look, let's skip through day 1 through 7, okay? That I'll go over in a second. If you go to day 8, this is a private Sacred Valley tour. It's very nice. We're going to go to the salt mines and all that stuff too. But it is something that you'll get to see of the Incas and how they built a lot of the irrigation systems and things like that, okay? We have a lunch that day, and then we take our train to Machu Picchu. The hotel is on there, El Mapi. It's a part of the Inca Terra hotel group. Inca Terra and Machu Picchu is the most luxurious hotel, and this is their second brand. So it's a very nice hotel. I mean, I've seen it, but Inca Terra is obviously nicer, but a lot more expensive. So we didn't go with the Inca Terra. But since it's a part of their brand, it's really nice. Okay? We're only there for one night, so traveling, we're going to leave all of our luggage in Cusco at the hotel at Cusco. So please bring a backpack or something light to carry on, because you want to put your one clothes in, one night clothes or whatever it is. You got to put that in there and just carry it there because you're only there for a night and you don't want to be lugging a large suitcase everywhere. So if you have a backpack or like a little handbag, please bring that on the trip so that you can use it for Machu Picchu too, okay? Any questions on that? Okay, then the next day we start our Machu Picchu tour. And then after the Machu Picchu, so what Machu Picchu is, it's about a 2-hour tour of the bottom of the Machu Picchu. Then there is the Hayana Picchu, which is another hike that is up a mountain. And it's about a 2-hour hike. It's narrow, but it is a hike that you get to see from the top, everything down. I haven't done this one. I asked them specifically, I said, I got kids going, is it dangerous? They're like, we've seen kids that are 7 and 8 that have done it. The thing is, I said, what if these kids misbehave? Then they said, don't bring them. So again, you have to be responsible. You're all most of you are juniors and some sophomores. We picked a good group of kids that are responsible individuals. I don't want you to be kicking and doing things like that. You hike. You're hiking up it. It's worth it. If you don't want to do it because you're afraid of heights or anything like that, you can still stay at the bottom and wait for the group. So there is an option that you don't have to do it. Okay? But if you do it, it is something that you're going to see that is so beautiful from up there. If you look up at the Google the pictures from Hayana Picchu, you're going to see it's really gorgeous. Okay? And we have 3 tour guides with us. So that's another reason she said it's pretty safe. She's going to break up the groups. We'll break up the groups according to that I know who's mischievous and who's not mischievous. So because we don't want to be responsible watching that person every time. So again, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. If parents, if you tell me that you don't want your child doing it, someone will stay behind with them, okay? But it is an experience to go up there. Again, the people that we're going with are experienced hikers. They've done this so many times that it is safe to do, because that was one of my concerns, okay? Any questions on this? No? Okay, and then we're going to take a train back, and we're going to go back to Cusco. So if you look at day 10, we have a free day, okay? I wanted to ask you guys, and by raise of hand, we can throw in, they have another tour, it's an ATV tour. It's $50 per person, and they have 28 ATVs, because I confirmed that, and we can ATV all together. Who would be interested in ATV? Yeah, okay, that's majority of it. And $50 includes the transportation, the tips, everything to them. And it's a 2.5-hour like ATV tour. So I just wanted to confirm it. If the parents are okay with it, then we can book this, because it'd be nice. The other alternative is, have you guys heard of Rainbow Mountain? No? Okay, if you Google Rainbow Mountain, the problem with Rainbow Mountain, it's beautiful to see, but it's a 3-hour drive there, and a 3-hour drive back, and 2.5-hour hike. We can do that too for the same, I think it's $55, $5 more. But you're going to be waking up at 5:36. We have to be out of there by 6 a.m. to get there. So I thought ATVing was a better alternative. So you're okay with ATVing then, right? So I'm going to confirm to do it and get that set up too, so we will add that on there, okay? And the cost for that is going to be $50. That's an additional cost, okay? Everybody's okay, I just want to make sure, right? I saw Maya shaking her head, no. You're good with ATV?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's American cash?
$50, yes. 4 soles, Peruvian, but it's $50, American cash, and well, I'm going to pay it, and then you guys can pay me, but that's the tour guide. I found another company, and I was talking, because I was at the fruit market, and my wife, I was sending videos. I decided to go to the fruit market and just eat fruit from the street, which I love doing. And I met this guy, an Indian guy, who told me that you can do this ATV tour. And I said, look, man, I've already spent enough money. I'm not doing any more tours. And he said, it's reasonable. And he said, they take you out. I think they even provide, I can't promise something to eat or not, but they provide something. And it's a 2-hour ATV for the group, and you tour through like the valley and things like that. And you end up at a lake somewhere. So
$50 is cheap.
yeah, that's for ATVing. I saw ATVing out here in Palm Springs. They wanted $200. So when I told my daughter, she's like, "We're doing it, Dad." I'm like, "Let's see if the group wants to do it." So it's reasonable, but other places, like I got a quote from this place, South SA Expeditions, $155. So I was like, "Oh no."
They're doing it through the thing you're doing it.
There probably are. You're absolutely right. So I contacted the local guy, and I started chatting with him, and he says, "Yep, $50 includes the tips, includes the transportation and everything." So I said, "Okay, that's pretty reasonable." And just to see, I got it quoted with them. Rainbow Mountain was $265, and these guys were charging $55 for Rainbow Mountain. So I was just like, wow. So when you're out there, when you meet the locals, you're able to, that was a good thing that I was able for next year's and the future years, find some local contacts out there. Okay, and then the last day, what we're doing is we'll start our, if you see the 8 a.m. antigen test, $40 per person, they'll come to the hotel room, they'll take it, and we'll get that done. And then at 10 a.m., we leave for a half-day Cusco tour. The Cusco tour is nice. Once you see Machu Picchu, you're really not going to be impressed. But it is nice to see the Cusco tour, the cathedrals out there, because I understand what the Spaniards did in Cusco to change Cusco. Okay? And then we'll get back to the, we'll be checked out that day, because checkout's by 11. So that's why I switched the day 10 and 11. Before on our trip, day 10 was our Cusco tour. But I switched it so we wouldn't have to just sit at the hotel. This is a 3.5-hour tour. Then by the time we get back, we can just wash up over there and get to the airport. Okay? Any other questions on the itinerary?
So the last day, the hotel will have our bags in storage.
Yep. So, okay, let's talk about that hotel. So I went and checked out the hotel. I met the owner of the hotel. It's a very nice, private hotel. If you look on Travel Advisor or TripAdvisor, whatever, I don't know what it is, but it's the #1 ranked hotel in Cusco, like review-wise. It was just brand new. It's brand new, built 3 years, and then 3.5 years ago, and then COVID hit, and they shut down for 1.5 years. So it's a nice hotel. Know the owners now. We chat on WhatsApp. He studied out here at UCSD, went back. His family develops hotels in Machu Picchu, Cusco, and Peru, and all those different areas. So we've set up the hotels there. We got 11 rooms. I'm still working on the room assignments and things like that. They were the ones that were able to offer us like 3 beds for when 3 people are rooming together, and 2 beds. So they're also providing us breakfast every day, which was a big deal because it does get expensive out there. My average meal that I went out, I was spending about $11 a day. $11 for every meal, sorry. But they're big portions. So they provide breakfast. I have 3 box lunches provided too, and 3 dinners provided too. Okay, and then the second night on a Sunday, I've also covered a Amazon jungle, a talk. They talk about how they are actually going back and meeting with the tribes and what you can do to save the Amazon jungle too. And then coffee there, and then there's dinner that night afterwards too. Okay, there's menus in there, so I need your menus picked out because we're such a large group that this was the only Italian place that I really fell in love over there. Go to Peru and I find an Italian restaurant. So there is a menu. Please circle what you want and put your name on the menu so I can send it to them. So that way they don't have to be asking everyone for orders that day. It's this. Yes, I'm going to need it. So put your name on it. You see this one?
I mean, you did it tonight.
Tonight. Yep, tonight. Then I have pens if you don't have pens. Veronica brought pens.
Yes.
Start from the beginning.
What? Yeah. On the court? I'm really not. Well, let's talk about that so we can talk about it in a second.
My son will go by himself.
What do you So we're going to talk about one language. So I'll talk to them right now. I have it on my topics to talk about it. No problem. But let's talk about that because that's a question that everyone has. So, okay. All right. So, what? One meal, yeah. Just only pick one item. Yeah, it's only one time. It's on Sunday when we get there. Okay, so there was a question about the new virus. I don't know what's going to happen with all the viruses that are going. I cannot control it. All I can tell you is we're taking the precautionary steps to be able to travel safely. That requires that, think of it this way, everyone getting on the plane has a PCR test. Everyone going out of the country has a PCR test. The only thing that I ask you guys in general, we gotta be flexible because things are gonna change. And I'm checking the embassy sites every day that whatever changes happen, we're gonna roll with the punches and move forward. We're in a new age that there is a virus. By the time we get there, there may be even a different new virus out there. But Cusco, and I was telling someone today that they had already banned South Africa and African countries about a month and a half ago. So that should tell you something. Like on our list, like there is a form that we're going to be filling out for you. Veronica's going to be filling out for you because Peru has a special form that you have to fill out to be able to gain entry in, on top of the PCR test. So we'll fill that out. But if it says on there, if you're from an African country, you are not allowed to come in. So they had already done that step a month and a half ago. So I feel a little bit confident going there, but again, am I 100% confident? No, because it changes every day. Am I worried about it? No. Will we be wearing masks? Yes. When we interact with children, you should be wearing your mask too. Okay? And we'll talk about more of the interactions, but I think it's, what is it, Omicron? No. Omicron. Sounds like a transformer name. But we don't know much about it yet. Even the president spoke on it today. It's nothing to panic about, but it's something to always take precautions about and respect it versus not respecting it. And again, that's why they make us double mask there. Restaurants are already small as it is, so that you can't even, to get a group of 28, we have to go to dinner at 5:30. And that's all of us. That's the restaurant. And we do have a lot of restaurants, like if you look at our meals are planned at the hotel too. Okay, so we will take the steps that are there. And people in Cusco, I can tell you, if you walk around, most of them they respect the virus, meaning they're not going to be in your space, and if you're not wearing your mask, they'll probably tell you to put your mask on. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay, let's talk about clothing. Cusco is a conservative town. And outside villages for girls and women, please don't, this is not for me, okay? I asked this specifically, so I'm not enforcing any type of clothing wear or anything, but they said don't have like shoulder straps. Veronica, yeah, get up there for a second. Yeah, like no shoulder straps like this. They usually want sleeves, okay? When we're volunteering in the towns, because their exact words is, the men are very machismo. So you want to respect their culture, and they will look at you different if you're not doing that. And for safety purposes, if we're going to Machu Picchu, there's no issue. Okay, you guys can wear whatever the heck you want, because that is more of a tourist town. But while we're in Cusco and while we're in the towns volunteering, please bring conservative clothes. That means, and I don't mean to just point out, no short shorts. They want usually 2 inches above the knees. Okay, so again, I asked them about leggings and jeggings. That was fine. They don't have an issue with that. But shorts and tops, nothing like showing shoulders or anything like that when we're volunteering or anything. Okay, walking around in town, not an issue. Like when we're in Cusco, walking around and things like that, you're going to see foreigners wearing all that. But when we're going to volunteer, let's respect, because we're going to we're going to villages. So we want to really respect the community that we're going into. And for girls, that was something that I did specifically ask, what kind of clothing should be there, because certain cultures get offended. Okay? Any questions on that? Perfect. Okay. Okay, birth certificates. Another thing is, everybody have birth certificates? You should carry your birth certificates. For the children that are coming with me, please have your birth certificates. Okay?
The original or a copy?
Original. You need to get an original. Not copies. That's a good question. You need to give me, for the children that are coming with us, for my responsibility too, I need your originals.
How about the certified copy with a stamp?
Certified copy is fine too.
Yeah.
Yep, it could be a certified copy too. But we do need it because if someone has a doubt that that they're not allowed to travel, or they just want to harass me too, I need everything. And so for parents too, yes, sometimes foreign countries ask. When we went to Africa, they didn't let us board because we didn't have birth certificates. and we had to FedEx it, overnight it, while we stayed in Atlanta, and we got it overnighted, and then boarded our flight to Africa, 1 day late. So again, please have birth certificates for everyone. If you don't have it, you know where to get it. You got to go to the recorder's office and grab a birth certificate. Okay.
We have a lot of copies.
Does everyone have birth
Certified.
certificates, originals or certified copy?
Oh, my kids
Just-
do, I know.
You don't need it. No. Only for children. Only for, let's clarify that. Only for children, not the adults. Not the adults. Only for children. Like you're traveling with your 2 kids, you need your 2 kids' birth certificates. Okay? So only for children. Okay? So like you'll need Jalen's. I need my 2 kids. So only for children, and you guys can give me yours, okay? Certified copy is fine, as long as it's like an original certified.
Yeah.
Where would you go, to
County
County
recorder.
re-
Where
register.
are they
no,
born?
they were born in Anaheim.
So you just go to the county recorder's office, Orange County County Recorder's office. Yeah, you can go to, they'll tell you where Anaheim is, and,
I think it's on Harbor.
yeah, so you just grab it there for the children. Okay? I'm saying, I don't know if they'll ask for it, but we got called out and going to Africa, and they would not let us
the
for it.
original.
Huh?
I have the original.
Yeah, you just take the original. Just grab the original if you have it. Okay? So you can give it to me. All right? Okay, everybody have WhatsApp here? You know what WhatsApp is? Okay, for the parents that are not traveling, their children that are not without their parents, I'm going to form a WhatsApp group with you guys. Okay? So that way we can share pictures, info, and everything. You should get an international plan if you have it. If not, I will have an international plan. Veronica, who's my assistant, she is going to have her international plan on her phone too. So you guys will have our numbers too before we go, so you can always call. If they don't have it, they can use my phone to call too, okay? So I just want to make sure, if you have AT&T, I think it's $10 a day. T-Mobile is, I think, free. It comes with it. But if you don't have it, if you aren't going to get it, you can always, no matter what, the children that don't have parents there, I will make sure they check in with you once a day before they go to bed or throughout the day, okay? But if you're on WhatsApp, you can always chat me because I'll share pictures throughout the day.
We'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Viber. Yeah, Viber, you can call on Viber too, right? But I don't have Viber. You need what? Data. Okay. Viber. Yeah, you just connect. But isn't that the same with WhatsApp too?
Yeah, it's Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, any kind of internet.
Any kind of internet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll download Viber too. I don't even know. I have Signal, WhatsApp, now I'll download Viber too. So you can all communicate. But worst comes to worst, mine has, I buy the international plan, so you can always, the kids can use my phone whenever they want. Okay? So that way they can always communicate. But if there's pictures, things, text, I can always send quicker too on WhatsApp. All right? Okay, so let's talk about volunteering. So I went and checked out the schools. It's not a school, the children that we're going to be doing. So you see this, you guys see Maximo Novel? You all have one with Maximo Novel. I don't think you have one here. I don't think you have one. Everybody else has a booklet, right? So Maximo Novel is who we partnered with out there. That is the local group that we're going to be working with to volunteer. If you all filled out waivers online, which was for the IVHQ, that is who we booked through to be able to volunteer, and then they partner us up with the local group, which is Maximo Novel. When I went out there, they toured me, they did everything. Okay, one of the biggest things volunteering there, you have to go with the flow. And I'll tell you this sad story. I was out there, I'm scratching my head why the kids aren't there. And this was a 3 to 5 volunteer period. And I was getting pretty upset. I was like, why aren't they there? We're coming with a group of so many people to volunteer. And they said, hold on, just ask this kid. So I said, where's your brother? They asked, where's your brother? Oh, he didn't make his 30 solas today, so he can't come to English.
Wow.
That put things in perspective for me. So kids don't get to come to these English classes because they didn't make enough money that day, selling things on the street. So we really have to go with the flow. You may have 60 kids one day, we may end up with 10 kids one day. Because if they don't sell enough, they don't get to come. So again, when I say this with all sincerity, when we're volunteering, we're buying all the books in the next couple of days to build a curriculum and things like that. So what we can do, we're going to break it up into 4 sessions, which will be 4 little groups. Will be in English, reading, math, and a PE group. So that we can do 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes with all the kids, okay? But if you see kids that are not coming or they come for a little bit and they leave, remember they have to make a daily earnings for their parents to be able to survive. So I even tried to talk to them, what if we just paid that day? They're like, no, they won't do it. The kids have to work because if they don't work, they lose their territories that they're selling in. I was like, wow. So even if we gave the 30 or 40 soles to them for the 5 days they come each day, they can't come because it's their territories that they have to sell in, or else someone else will come in and take it. So that's a rude awakening for us, and that's why I say this is our first time doing this, so we're learning too. So if there's some sitting around or lag time while we're teaching, please just bear with us. It's not something that I anticipate. I just got to figure it out and we got to go with the flow, okay? And parents, what I will tell us to do is us to step away so the kids can actually get the experience. If most of the kids don't show up, okay? But again, that is not something they can control or we can control because their parents will not let them there if they don't sell 30 to 50 soles worth of stuff every day. And that's just the general right now. And also understand, schools are not open in Peru. These kids have not gone to school almost in 2 years. And they're not opening anytime soon. So when they're coming to us, they're a little bit rowdy, they've lost 2 years of their life to mature in a school system. So we just got to work through them. That's why we're going to break it up into groups depending on what happens. And if we can't get enough students, we're going to switch the parents, and we're still trying to figure it out. We're going to switch the parents to a construction project, if they can get a construction project set up too. Okay? But from what I heard yesterday, 2 days ago, after coming back, they're talking to a community where we can come in, and there's about 50 kids there. Okay? But it's the same problem that we're going to face in every community. They have to earn because there isn't enough money going around right now. Okay? Any questions on that? If you look at this, I've given you a piece of sheet that says International Volunteer HQ. That is the company that we booked with. Then Maximo Nivel is the local company that we're going to be volunteering with. South American Expedition is who we did our tours with. The hotel in Cusco, you're going to see the hotel link for that. The hotel in Machu Picchu, you're going to see the link for that. The doctor, the medical group that we do have, that we're working with there, you're going to see the link for that. And your travel insurance, everyone saw that. It's in your folders, right? So it's a quick sheet, especially for the parents they're sending their children. It's something that you can have to look at it, okay? And gives you a little more comfort. Okay, another thing is, everybody, you see this? It's a background check, authorization. Please fill this out tonight. I need it. It has personal information that I need. We have to do background checks because if there is something that we're dealing with children, we cannot if we find anything on the backgrounds, they won't allow us to go. Because we have to submit it to IBHQ. So if you can just put your information in. Yes, I do need the social. We're not pulling credit, but it is there to run a background check. Yes?
Are the background checks only for adults or?
No, everybody. Everybody. So for children too. Once we run the background check, I will be shredding this information too. Okay? The background check will be submitted to them, it's uploaded, and we will be shredding it. But yes, we do need the social. It is for a criminal. We're not running anything financial or anything like that. Okay? Any questions on the background check?
I do,
Yeah.
I do my name or?
No, his name. You just need his name.
Did you
Chuck?
already do this? Did we not do it?
No, you haven't done it yet. I remember I talked to you about getting your
Yeah,
social,
yeah.
but I never got it. Because I said I'm just going to get it from the day with everybody here.
Yeah.
Plus, I need an authorization because since I'm running it for everybody, I need to be able to send it to. I'm going to run it through Intellis. If you've heard of Intellis, that's who I'll be running the background checks through. And again, it does not pull, there's no credit checks, okay? We're not running any financial information. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. We're not running a credit report or anything. It's just purely to see if, on the side of if you're a danger to kids. Okay? Okay, the last item that I've been telling you, if you need more masks, I have some masks here. Peru is a double mask country. You have to double mask in Peru, and also you have to double mask going from Houston to Lima on the plane. It requires double mask because that is a Peru requirement. Okay? So if you need more masks, I have them. Yes,
Social security number, do I have?
his number.
Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else need any more masks? I've given you one box. Please put it in your suitcase. Okay, and suitcase, one suitcase is allowed for check-in, I think. It is international. Yes. I will confirm that too, but one, and then carry on one, right? Okay? Let's go over the packing list. Okay. Obviously, passports. Okay, the parents that are not coming, do you want your children to hold on to the passports, or would you prefer us holding on to the passports?
You.
Okay. I just want to ask because I don't want the children to be offended or calling the parents saying he took my passport. So I prefer to hold on to them because we'll put them in a safe and with ours. But I will take the children's that do not have parents there. What you should send them with is this. Anybody have passport cards here? Yeah, so also send them with a passport card because that can stay in their wallet with them too. If they don't have a passport card, please make a colored copy of your passport so you can always carry that on you too. Okay? We have your passports just in case, and I will be making copies and printing them out too. But you should always carry an extra copy of your passport, colored copy. Okay? COVID vaccine cards. You got to bring that. You got to bring your COVID vaccine cards, okay? You need the originals because they'll ask for it. All right? Credit cards. They take credit cards there. So what I would do is, if you don't have a credit card, get a credit card for your children that aren't that don't have the parents there. Also cash. There's an exchange place there, Western Union. I went and did it. It's pretty easy to get exchange. Don't do it here because they'll rip you off. Over there, you're getting. I got $1 to $3.98 on the solas. Over here, I went to go do it at Chase Bay. They wanted to give me three solas for $1. I was like, no way, not doing it here. So it basically takes away. But most places take dollars there. So what do you want to do for money-wise? You don't want large bills. Please, please, please get ones, fives, tens, and 20s. There's no reason to have anything larger than that. Ones, fives, 20s. Okay?
1, 5, 10, 20.
Yeah, sorry, 1, 5, 10, 20. Okay? Money-wise, this was a good question. How much money should you send with your children? If they're big shoppers, then a lot of money. If they're not big shoppers, things are relatively cheap there, okay? They're not too expensive. I don't think you should send them with more than $50 a day. Because if they want to eat out or do their own food or buy some snacks or stuff like that, you're spending maximum $5 to $10 on snacks. McDonald's there, I even went to McDonald's, cost $9 to eat a meal there. Okay? But you shouldn't, $50 a day is enough. Everything else is going to be covered, most of the stuff. So some spending money, if they're going to buy souvenirs and stuff. Okay? But low denomination for dollars. Please make sure dollars, $5, $10, and $20. Okay? Yep. What?
When you exchange the cash, it can't be torn or worn out.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. They do not like torn, and they do not like worn out bills. If they're folded, they even try to give me a hassle. But that's just there. They don't like torn or worn out bills. So when you go to the bank, ask them for newer bills. That is good, thank you. Because they are strict. They will take dollars everywhere, and they'll convert it to 4. Most places convert it to 4. But they don't. If you have a torn or a crumpled up bill, they won't take it. Okay? So again, make sure when you buy it, no torn, no crumpled up bills, and bring lower denominations. Okay? All right. Converters. 220 converters, you do need them. You know what they are, right? So please send them with your children. If you're traveling with adults, everyone, you need converters, okay? It's 220 converter. So you can charge your phones, you can charge all that. Hiking shoes. Yep, go ahead.
What kind of prongs do they use over there?
Like a 2-prong or a 3-prong one.
Okay.
They have both on it. So you can do a 2 or a 3-prong. Hiking shoes. Highly suggested. Because even in Cusco, it's a cobblestone like walking area. And the doctor told me, this is what he said. People trip and fall, that's what I see them for too. So I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, they'll twist or they'll break something as they're walking. He goes, make sure you tell everybody to bring hiking shoes just as their daily wear. And I'm like, okay. Because their streets are stones. They're like little cobblestones and going there. So please, please bring hiking shoes. And also for Machu Picchu, if you're going to do the Hayana Picchu, there's no way I'm letting you go if you have tennis shoes. Not happening. I'm just going to, even if the parents, if you guys bring tennis shoes, not happening. We're not going, we're not taking, I'm not going to even take that risk. Because you do need hiking shoes to hike Hayana Picchu. Okay? So if you don't have hiking shoes, buy them. If you don't have them, you're fine, but you're not, you can do Machu Picchu at the bottom. You will not be able to go on the larger hike, because that's just, they won't, I don't think they'll let you either, the people that were going. Okay? Cold weather, it gets cold at night, in like 60s, sometimes 50s. It rains like a tropical island. I mean, it rained in the morning for 2-3 hours most days that I was there, or in the afternoon, and then the sun was out. The sun was out to the point that I had to take off my jacket and everything. Okay? So bring a rain jacket, like something that's just smooth and it goes off and it doesn't get drenched. Okay? I would suggest you buying ponchos from here, because if you try to buy them in Machu Picchu, they're going to rip you off. So parents, children, grab like the plastic ponchos that you get at Walmart so you can throw it on while you hike if you need it. Machu Picchu weather is It's crazy. You might go there and it'll be all foggy that day, and in 2 hours the fog will disappear. Or it can rain for an hour while you're hiking and it'll clear up. So just be prepared for that too. Okay? Sunscreen. I know my kids always make fun of me, a fanny pack. You may need a fanny pack. So if you have a fanny pack, if you need it, my kids think that I'm the biggest nerd out there because I carry a fanny pack and then I lock it to my belts here because I always carry my passport on me if something went wrong. But if you have a passport card, you can always carry a passport card too. Because I keep an X amount of money if we need anything or anything like that. So I always carry that fanny pack, and that's locked to my belt buckles. So no, even if they cut the back out, I'm ready to go. It's just gonna hang on my pants. This is what happens. We've traveled to almost 49 countries. So I'm like, if someone cuts something and we joke about it, that's the #1 crime there is pickpocketing. So if you have it in a fanny pack and it's locked to both sides, they gotta cut this belt loop for it to fall off. So, and it allows me to carry the cash and things like that in the case of an emergency. Okay? Face shield. Pack 1 face shield or 2 face shields in your bags. Before November 15, everyone was required to have a face shield there. So if the laws change dramatically during that time, we're ready. Can we buy them? Yeah, you're going to be buying a face shield for $20. $20. So it's better to pack them now, okay? And where can you get them? Walmart, 99-cent store. Just grab a face shield or 2 and put them in your bag, okay? Again, we went over the carry-on bag for Machu Picchu. And we went over the conservative clothing. If you see here, Maxwell and Noel did a pretty good job of the city and some restaurants. They got very familiar restaurants. I know some parents are concerned about food there. They got American restaurants, and they're pretty good. I mean, the food there is pretty good.
Can you talk a little about altitude?
Very good question. Okay, so altitude, it's going to be high. You probably are wondering why we're getting in on Saturday and not doing anything till till Monday. You're more than likely for the kids and even adults, you're probably going to get a headache. You're going to feel lightheaded. So there's something there called coca tea. When we get there, you're going to need to drink that tea to adjust to the climate. We're going to be there 6 days in Cusco because Machu Picchu is even higher. But that will give us the ability to adjust to the altitude. And when we get there, you really want to eat light for Saturday and Sunday to adjust. The more food you have, your system's going to work harder. And you're better off drinking soups. They're fresh soups and things. It will help you to adjust. Tylenol. So bring Tylenol. Bring Fortrin. You should bring that. Everyone should have that. I mean, bring like a safety kit with you. But for the altitude, the best thing is eating light, a lot of water, and coca tea. You could probably get coca tea on Amazon right now. I would start drinking it 2 to 3 days beforehand. Okay? If you look on Amazon, there's coca tea there. And just get the straightforward, no sugar, no nothing added. And if you start drinking it twice a day, 3 days to 2 days before your trip, you should adjust pretty well. For me, when I just recently went, I had a major headache, took 2 Tylenol and slept, and drank water, and the only meal I had was a soup. Next morning, I was adjusted. And I had a lot of coca tea. Okay?
Coca, is that C-O-C-A?
Yeah. So, it derives from the term cocaine. So, but it is their native drink. It's herbal drink, and that will help us to adjust. Okay? I have coca candy that I brought back, but I will give that to each family member, some of them, to you while we get on the plane, to start using that.
I know they have a tradition of also chewing on the coca leaves.
Yeah.
Over there. Now, what's the policy of chewing on coca leaves?
I wouldn't do it. Because if you get food poisoning from it, it's your decision. Because you can make your own decisions. The ones that I'm taking with no parents, no way. I don't want no food poisoning. I don't want anything to be responsible. So you just drink the coca tea that's given to you at the hotel. And then I also brought the candy, which does wonders too. So it's I chew on it, it's like a Hall's candy basically, but it's made for coca, okay? So I'll give you guys some of that too. But Lipton does a coca tea, and you can get it from Lipton too. And Amazon has it. But I'm okay like doing things like that. Like I ate at the fruit vendor. This last time I went, the guy was cutting fruit up for me and eating it. I was eating and people were staring at me. But I mean I go to India, so it's okay there too. So again, you can do what you want, but for the kids that don't have the parents, not much. Because food-wise, I don't want any food poisoning issues. Okay? So safety is going to be a strict concern. I'm not being strict with your kids. I just want to make sure that we don't get anyone sick there. If the parents are there, it's easier because they can tend to their children. Where if you're not there, I don't want to have to make that call saying, hey, we got to go, someone got food poisoning. So we're going to just restrict where they eat and what they do to make sure that they're safe. Parents, if you're with your kids, you can do whatever you want. That's your decision. Okay? But altitude is an issue. If you're feeling sick, just understand you're not obligated. Don't volunteer. You don't have to just stay in the room that day, and it's okay. Because you may need another day to adjust. So no one's going to force you, guys. Especially the children that no parents are there. If you just need to stay in the room and sleep that day, I'm okay with it. Or you're too tired, don't worry about it. But if you're staying in the room, I'm making sure and telling the hotel people that you're not allowed to leave that hotel. Okay? So again, we're watching for safety purposes because we don't want you leaving. If you're going to stay back, you're allowed to stay in the room, order room service, do whatever you need to do. If your parents are there, I don't really mind it. For the kids that are there, that's why I got to meet the hotel staff and everyone. There's only one entrance out, so they'll be watching. Okay? If you don't feel well, you are able to stay at the hotel and not volunteer. It's okay. Your health is the #1 priority. Okay? Any other questions? Some are going to have a rough time adjusting, okay, to altitude. I'm telling you that right now. So if we're going on a tour, we may be stopping the car 3 or 4 times. It's okay, and please be considerate, because kids or adults will have a rough time adjusting. If we have to pull over 3 or 4 times, it's perfectly fine with us. All right? Because everywhere we go, the altitude gets higher.
I thought Machu Picchu is low. I think you go from Cusco's high.
Yeah, Cusco's higher. But
Cusco's higher, but you go down to Machu Picchu.
you go down to Machu Picchu, but then you go up to Machu Picchu when you're hiking it.
Yeah.
So you do go down, the train takes you down, and then it takes you up. You'll see that up part when we have to walk that up part. Yeah, because once we get off the train, or to get to the train, there is a section that will take our time to get there. Okay? We do have some culinary experiences there for Peruvian food. There is a place that we're going to be at a farm, and they're going to cook the food underground and everything. Again, if you don't feel comfortable eating, we're going to provide other options too. But this is a place that all tourists go to. So they have kept it there as a clean place. Okay? They understand that we're not accustomed to the water. They understand that if they're going to cook with water, it has to be boiled at a certain temperature and everything. Again, when you're going out there too a lot, don't eat street food. I mean, they'll tell you, even your tour guides will tell you, street food should be off limits. Okay? You don't want to try the stuff. Even if they tell you, try guinea pig, don't try it, unless it's at a restaurant. And guinea pig is a delicacy there. Because I was trying to figure out what to do for these kids for their Christmas, Eve meal, and they said, serve them guinea pig. I'm like, what? And they said, guinea pigs are a delicacy there. It's a very expensive meat. That and alpaca meat. Alpaca is very expensive there too. So, okay, any other questions? I couldn't understand, sorry. Okay. I wouldn't carry. Yeah, so, if they run out of money or anything like that, they can come to me, but they take credit cards there. If they don't have credit, my suggestion, I would not carry more than $200 to $300 for the child. 200 should be there. If they need money, I'll have it. So if they need to borrow from me or anything like that, I'll give it to them. I prefer them not carrying more money, and if there's any issue, that's why I'll have you guys, that's why we have that contact information sheet too in there. Fill it out. If there is anything that they need from me, I'll give it to them. Okay, so they, but I don't want them carrying too much money. About $200, $250 maximum. Credit card is there. Most places take credit cards, like restaurants, I would not use cash. Okay, but when you're buying souvenirs, they don't take credit card, so it's all cash. Okay, so just keep the rule of thumb, credit card, no ATMs. Try to avoid ATMs because they're scams and things like that. So credit card, don't do an ATM debit card.
And if you take my credit card,
No, it has to be in his name. They will check ID or things like that. If he doesn't have a credit card, then cash. If worse comes to worse, I can always charge it and we can balance out. So I don't want, don't stress it. My job is to make it as easy as possible for the parents that don't have it. If they run out of money or anything, just please, kids, feel free. You can come. I'll give you the money. I'll chat with your parents that I gave X amount of dollars to your child. Okay? So if you send them with less money, not a big deal. We will make sure we have it, that will be carried with me. Okay? No problem. Any other questions? No, okay. I think, has everyone filled out the background check? Veronica, you want to grab them? Oh, this is Veronica, by the way. She works with me. She's coming. She's going to be dealing with the kids too. And also, if volunteering, if we get split up, either myself or Veronica will always be with the kids group. No matter what. There will always be one adult with them. Okay? Plus the adults from Maximum Novel. Okay? But there will always be one of us with them. Oh, I also have shirts, EOTO shirts. Please, each person grab 2 shirts, okay? So you can pack that in your bag too. Okay, and you got your menus too for food? All right, no other questions? Yeah. Yeah, what do you? Oh, so that's what that's all. To the hotel, the good thing about that is too. So the hotel. Yeah, so they have a lot so it's so easy, like when I come to this place, I'm shots, I'm vegetarian, all this stuff, we're able to find something everywhere. And the hotel, they cater to also vegetarian. Huh? Yeah, go all over. Here, you want that? Any questions, sir? We're good? Okay.
Manang, where's Mama? I've been calling her. Give her the phone, please. Give Mama the phone. I need to talk to her now. Oh, and we need Rachel's social security number. Okay, bye. Text it to me. Yeah.